Hello there, Sully here, the Retired Tiger Yanker. Welcome to Transitions, my YouTube channel. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, to like and share this video, and drop a comment. I don't know how I'm getting drawn into this, but I find myself once again making a video which debunks the flat earth. Now, granted, I am not a scientist. I am not all that great at advanced mathematics. I can add numbers up with the best of them. And I don't suffer from math confusion. Most people suffer from math confusion, and I love it when somebody says, okay, we have a little test for you. See if you can figure this out. 3 men go to a hotel room, and they check in with the clerk, and the clerk says, the room costs $30, so each man gives them $10 and they check into the room. Okay, granted these prices are absurd, but I'm using these numbers because this is an old riddle. So, when the manager of the hotel comes back and says, I see you check somebody into room so-and-so. Yes. Says you charge them $30. Yes. He said, well, we have a special on that room tonight. It's only $25. Here, there's $5. Take it back and give it back to them. So the clerk is taking the money back. He sees $5. He says, you know what? I'm going to keep $2 of this and just give these guys $3 back. So he goes to the room and tells the guys, hey, look, I made a mistake. The room is only $27. Here's $3 back. Each guy gets $1. And he keeps $2. So now they say each man's paid $9 for the room. 9 times 3 is 27 plus 2 is 29. Where'd the other $1 go? Well, when the guy told me that, I said, well, first of all, the $27 doesn't include the $3 because 27 plus 3 is 30, right? And they paid 25 went to the room and 2 went to the clerk. That's $27. 3 times 9 is 27. The guy says, no, that's the wrong answer. I said, yes, it is. I took out money and showed him. And he's looking there and says, no, that can't be right. Why? Because you already have it in your head that these guys each paid $9, that's 27. And, you know, and the clerk kept $2. I tried to tell him, yeah, $25 for the room, 2 to the clerk, 3 for the refund. And he couldn't get that concept. And he kept saying, Einstein couldn't figure this out. I said, really? Show me your proof that Einstein couldn't figure it out. I just figured it out for you. So, that's math confusion. And that's probably why people are ready to accept the concept of the flat earth. I think the last I heard was maybe anywhere between 2 and 4% of all Americans believe that the earth is flat. Not because of what they've heard on the internet or they just look around and say, well, it looks flat to me. But we have had pictures taken from space, and yeah, space does exist. NASA isn't some great conspiracy to steal our money. The proof is that the earth is round. So all I'm saying is, to anybody out there who subscribes to the flat earth, show me a photograph, an actual photograph of the flat earth taken from outer space. Now, according to the Flat Earth Society, this is an accurate depiction of the earth. It is not a photograph. It is computer-generated image of what they think the Earth looks like. But this is a photograph taken in 1972 during the Apollo 17 mission, in the days before CGI, in the days before Photoshop. This is a picture of what the Earth looks like. Now, a more recent photograph taken by a satellite shows the moon and the earth. And notice that the earth is curved. This is, again, is an actual photograph, not CGI. Let's take a step back in time, though, to the year 1969, when Apollo 11 was on the moon and took this picture of the earth. It's not computer-generated image. It is not Photoshop, because that technology did not exist in 1969.
So anybody tries to tell you that NASA uses photoshopped images, this is a more recent image. This is the Earth at night, taken with the sun on the other side of the Earth, as you see it's shining up from there. But this is what the Earth looks at night if you're standing somewhere or observing somewhere from the night side. And just to show you that the Earth is a spinning ball, here's a picture of a spinning ball.
Now, admittedly, I am not a mathematician. I didn't do really good in things like calculus and trigonometry. I barely understood algebra when I was in high school. It's probably because the teacher I had felt that if you didn't understand it, you were just going to be left behind. My junior year, I began taking business courses and bookkeeping, accounting, and I found that I did have a flair for adding simple numbers. I also took geometry that year, and I was a whiz in geometry because we're studying the shape of things. I'm reminded of the fellow from Louisiana whose son was a mathematical genius, and he went to MIT. And his father said, "Son, don't let them Yankees be filling your head with crazy ideas and fool concepts." And when the fella came home on his first Christmas break, he got to inform his family that he made the dean's list and got straight A's. And the family said, "Well, there, son, what are you studying there in that fancy Yankee school?" And he said, "Well, we study classes like geometry." They said, "What geometry be?" He said, "That's where we study the shape of things." And his father says, "Talk some geometry to us, son." He says, "Well, in geometry, they teach us pi r square." And everybody looked around, shook their heads, and his father finally said, "Son, you am not going back to that fool Yankee school teaching you fool ideas like pi r square. Everybody knows that pi r round, cornbread r square, I guarantee." Okay, so that's my attempt at a fake Louisiana accent, but you get the gist of it. Math confusion. So I'll give you a prime example of math confusion, and I can prove that I have 11 fingers. Now, how many do you see there? 10. You see 10 fingers, right? So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Now I'm holding up 6 fingers plus 5 is 11. Well, that's basically the type of math that flat earthers do. They have math confusion. They're basically in denial. Now, I'm reading the Wikipedia definition of denialism, and it says, "In the psychology of human behavior, denialism is a person's choice to deny reality as a way to avoid a psychologically uncomfortable truth. Denialism is essentially irrational action that withholds the validation of a historical experience or event when a person refuses to accept an empirically verifiable reality." Empirically verifiable reality. Well, I'll give you an example of an empirically verifiable reality, and that is that the Earth is a globe. Empirical evidence is the information received by means of the senses, particularly by observation and documentation of patterns and behaviors through experimentation. The term comes from the Greek word for experience, empiria. Can I read it? Empiria. After Immanuel Kant in philosophy, it is common to call knowledge gained a posteriori knowledge, in contrast to priori knowledge. Now, empirical evidence is information that verifies the truth, which accurately corresponds to reality or falsity, inaccuracy of a claim. In the empiricist view, one can claim to have knowledge only when based on empirical evidence, although some empiricists believe that there are other ways of gaining knowledge. This stands in contrast to the rationalist view, under which reason or reflection alone is considered evidence for truth or the falsity of some propositions. So, that means that if you believe that the Earth is flat, you're using a rationalist view. And you're just looking around and saying, "Well, it looks flat to me." But we know that if we were standing on a flat plane, we should be able to see to infinity, since we can see to infinity depending on which way we're looking. So if you're looking at something straight out, and you see a horizon, but there's something that exists beyond that horizon must drop off. And what causes that horizon to drop off? Curvature of the Earth. Plain and simple. Okay, again I'm quoting from Wikipedia. Members of the Flat Earth Society and other flat earthers claim that NASA and other government agencies conspire to delude the public into believing the Earth is spherical. Well, when you have a conspiracy, what you're doing is saying that people are colluding to deceive you. Now, yes, our government does engage in covert operations where they use disinformation, but that's in the interest of national security. And the fact that a blind man in a dark room, wearing a blindfold, wearing dark glasses at midnight, as I quote my high school geometry teacher, Father Ira, a blind man could see that the Earth is round. Now, they claim that NASA photoshops these images and that they use CGI. They've even gone so far as to say that the photograph of the Earth, which appeared on the cover of Life magazine in January of 1969, the photograph of the Earth taken by Jim Lovell as Apollo 8 was returning from the moon, they claim that that is a computer-generated image. The only problem with that is that CGI did not exist in 1968. Now, they argue that these photoshopped images are based on color changes in the ocean. They don't understand that when NASA shows some images, they don't use what's called true color. I mean, if you take a picture with your camera and you use true color, you're seeing as best as your eye can see that the camera can reproduce. But they use false color images to explain things like density, temperature change, elevation, etc. I mean, conspiracy theories are out there. People believe what they want to believe. But, you know, it is what it is. NASA is some kind of conspiracy to take our money from us. Well, you have to remember that a lot of the technology that we use today, something as simple as the very computer or tablet or smartphone or television that you're watching this video on, is a direct result of research that NASA did, of work that NASA did. Advances in medicine are being made. Now people say, boy, our technology is growing by leaps and bounds. Why? Because we're putting people in space. That's why. That's all there is to it. Now, one of the things that flat earthers tend to say is that you've been deluded by our public education system, which is run by the government. And they're trying to brainwash you. Well, you know what? If somebody is telling you that you've been brainwashed, chances are they're trying to brainwash you. Second of all, I'm not a product of the public education system. I went to Catholic school. Yes, Catholic as in the Roman Catholic Church. I was taught by Franciscan friars who were critical thinkers. They taught science and math as well as religion. And they taught science and math based on revealed fact, experimentation, proven theories. They taught us that the universe formed from the Big Bang. Not that it was some great explosion, but it was the universe compressing to a minute size and then beginning expanding, and it's continuing to expand. These were Catholic priests, yet they were teaching us that the world is round, that gravity exists, that we've been to outer space, that we've been to the moon. When I was in grade school, I was taught primarily by nuns. Yes, we had lay teachers, but even there, we were taught that the world is round because they would not deny the facts. A lot of flat earthers say, well, it says so in the Bible, and the Bible is absolutely 100% positively correct. Is it really? Could it be possible that the Bible is more of an allegorical thing? Believe it or not, as I make this video, there is a conference going on called the Flat Earth International Conference. And according to their website, it's an educational endeavor composed of individuals and organizations uniting around the common purpose of the true scientific inquiry of the created Earth. And here's what they say. Most people today subscribe to the espoused heliocentric globe model explanation of our cosmology, which contends that the Earth spins at 1,040 miles per hour while traveling around the Sun at 66,000 miles an hour. Meanwhile, the entire solar system moves through the Milky Way galaxy at 490,000 miles per hour, as the Milky Way darts through infinite space at over 1 million miles per hour. Then they say, however, every experiment ever conducted to prove the simple spin of the Earth has failed. Has it? Maybe the experiments that you conducted have failed. Because you have invented this theory. You have a conclusion. The Earth is flat. So you invent your theories and present them as evidence. So here is the evidence that I want to see from you.
Show me an actual picture taken from space of the flat Earth. It's that simple. Show me an actual photograph and not this computer-generated image. But that is something you cannot do, because no such image exists. However, this actual photograph, this unretouched, non-Photoshop, non-CGI photograph taken in 1972 does exist. That should be all the proof anybody needs.
Now, flat earthers will say, well, of course it doesn't exist. First of all, we can't fly that high because there's a dome blocking us. Well, go as high as you can and take some pictures. Fly around and show me actual photographs of this ice wall where you can see beyond this. Because if the Earth is flat, you should be able to see infinitely to the end of it. If you're out on the ocean somewhere, you should be able to see this ice wall if you're standing on a flat plane. Yes, it's pretty far away. Just show me your proof. And I want to see actual pictures. And before you start on there saying NASA shows photoshopped images or CGI, remember that when the NASA missions to the moon were going on between 1968 and 1972, we did not have CGI. We did not have Photoshop. A lot of conspiracy theorists say, well, the moon landing that they showed on TV was actually shot in a studio somewhere. Yeah, well, NASA has admitted, and Stanley Kubrick's daughter has admitted, that Kubrick was hired by NASA to make a film showing what was going on during the moon landing. The idea was, if for some reason the television link failed, people back on Earth want to know what's going on. And they were planning on showing it on television. Fortunately, thanks to Philo Farnsworth, we had television of the Apollo 11 EVA and subsequent missions. You know, this is in the day before computer animation. This is in the days before CGI. This is in the days before Photoshop. These things did not exist. So, I've been looking on YouTube and on the web, by the way, about this Flat Earth Conference. And from what I understand, attendance is a little bit lower than they expected. And they draw more people coming out to mock them than they do actual attendees of these things. So, I'm sure Flat Earthers are going to watch this and they're going to tell me I've been duped by the public education system, which is run by the government. Well, I didn't go to a government-run education system. I went to the school system run by the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. They answer to a higher authority. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth, and I'm sure this is not going to be my last Flat Earth debunking video or my Flat Earth criticism video. I mean, face it, the world is round. The funniest statement I heard about the Flat Earth movement was, hey, the Flat Earth movement is growing. We have supporters from all around the world. Somebody actually said that. And my thought was, how could you say that without your tongue falling out of your mouth? So, for Transitions, this is Sully, the retired tanker yanker. Safe and happy travels.